Hey, what is going on YouTube? Hey, Aaron here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are in the Brindisi, the Tier 8 Tech 3 Italiano. Sorry, my Italian heritage is coming out when we're playing this. And here we're actually checking out our division mate who has 1,395 kills in the Shima. He actually played fairly well, so shout out to him. I wish the Steel Camo had like XP or wins or something that maybe mattered a little bit more than kills. And here we also check our messages from No Dad Found. It looks like we found him. But yes, guys, we're in the Brindisi, the newest tech tree Tier 8 Italian cruiser to come to Legends. And guys, I really like this ship. Now, I say that, and then, some people are going to go out and spend their global or their silver, and they're not going to like this ship. This ship is a very high skill ship. This ship requires situational awareness, positioning, target selection, and a host of other things that really make cruiser players, elite or good in order to do well in this ship. Now, I will say this game turns into more so of a damage fest at the end, but mainly because of, well, our team's positioning. But here we are moving into the A cap. We spawned on the right side, the A side. We play the A side, the right side. I don't know how many people, these battleships in our game included, who just don't want to play the side they spawn on. But here we're taking a defensive positioning. YOLOing into this cap without knowing what we're going against is certain suicide. Yes, you may be able to kill a DD or, get away with, killing two people who have very limited understanding of the game, but going against a main and a Yamato and anybody with half of a brain, you will end up dead in 2 minutes there. And that is not my idea of impacting the game. Here, though, you can already see our team's position is abysmal. The DD is AFK. We have one cruiser going around the outside of C, and the other two battleships that spawn with him have left their side at C. I understand that Atlantic is like one of the worst maps in the game, and the spawns kind of suck, but you just have to stay at the side you spawn on. I really don't, care about whatever excuse you come up with. As soon as you leave your spawn, you open up your team to a tremendous crossfire, and that is what happens. I'm pretty sure I know one of the other players, the Conqueror, and he is a good player. And a lot of people, you don't even have to be a good player to exploit the advantage of giving up a cap. You can see that we have an enemy DD in B, and our DD is actually not AFK now. He's in Bravo, and we have a DD in C. On top of that, our destroyer with a lot of kills is sitting outside of A. I'm not sure why. Like I said, he did have a good game, but if this was me, I would have been in A, right? Capping A. I guess, he wants the main to come out so he can get more kills for his steel camo, but the more important objective is A. And in the meantime here, we are angled out. You want to absolutely pay attention to your angles in this ship. This ship is very strong, but Wargaming made sure it was balanced. You have around a 20-second reload without any buffs to it, and we will always go, as always, we go over our stats and commander guide at the end of this video. But on top of having a significantly longer reload than most of the other tier 8 cruisers, your Citadel is massive, and I got skill issued, not fully, but a Pommern took 2 Citadels on me. Now, we actually did end up winning that game, and it was a good game, but I wanted to feature this one just a little bit more because this one was a little bit, higher damage, which you guys tend to find more entertaining. People throw up like a 60,000 damage game, and they're like, that's it. But we have lost 3 ships already in the opening 3.5 minutes there. You can see me issue a good job to our team. The Charles Martel, who was shouting commands and telling everyone to shoot battleships on the opposite flank, go figure, he died. The Worcester, I think, died up there on the other side of the map, and the Destroyer. Now, the Destroyer did actually trade, so that's like a silver lining here, but you can see me, I'm realizing, well, we're going to have to go defend B if we want any chance at this game. And basically, in Legends, with how limited teams are, and what I mean by that is 9 on 9 as opposed to 12 on 12 that there is on PC, if you die in a Destroyer and you don't impact the game, any other decent DD on the enemy team is going to take that advantage, and it should be a win. Now, that being said, we have had incredible comebacks, and there is a lot of questionable play in Legends, but basically do your best to not throw your ship away in the first 5 minutes. As I've said before, and I'll say it again, if you're dying in the first 7 minutes, you're not positioning correctly, or you're not reading the map. Which are 2 big things in Legends. A lot of people think it's all about firepower and battleships and torpedoes, and that's literally like 20% of the game. But anyway, here we are looking at what these two ships are doing. They are hiding behind islands. Our Shima is trying to torp them. I can't really blame him. That's probably the play I would have made. If he kills those guys, he can move on. But here, we're looking back at the middle of the map. We're going to defend our weak side, and that is when we can see torpedoes. At which point we ping where we think the Shima is on the minimap, and also we look at what is available to get our crossfire. That Conquer was in the division with the Shima, so paying attention to divisions, and that's what I'm doing. I'm checking that position here. So if that Shima, which is now spotting me, is in a division with that Conquer, I need to pay attention to his crossfire because he's probably communicating with him, right? But here we have this Mino pop up, and all I can really do at this point is hope and pray that the Shima actually gets detected, and he does. The Palmer popped his Hydro. Unfortunately, the Shima did a U-turn, and he is out of there. We threw a shot, but it's like I said, anything without high velocity at 10 plus kilometers on a DD is basically a low percentage shot. And that is why my accuracy is not, well into the 50s, but some people have like a 30% accuracy. If your accuracy is not around 40, you should, try and maybe aim a little bit better without using, massive amounts of auto aim. Here we have a Mino in his smoke, just farming away, and we actually take a blind fire and get one overpen. So we know he's right there, right? So we're going to keep the AP loaded. The ammo selection choice should be anytime you would use HE, you want to use SAP. And guys, this SAP obliterates. I know I've been blabbering on for basically half the game here, but trust me, we rack up the damage later on. And there's actually a Citadel, nice little blind fire on that Mino. So anytime you can take shots like that, you should do so. That is, 8k that Mino does not have. Now, the Mino, of course, has a good heal, but that is 8k that Mino will no longer have. On top of that, we also threw a wide set of torpedoes out there, and those actually hit the Shima. You can see it hit the Shima on the left there, so we immediately switched to the SAP. I was going to try and throw a blind fire, but basically hitting that blind fire is like 1 in a trillion, I guess. And on top of that, we actually go undetected. So I could have thrown that blind fire way out there, but by the time my SAP got reloaded with this ship, it was too late. There is that other set of, one of the sets of 3 from the Shima there, but because of just, understanding the game and realizing, okay, the Shima's probably circling around out here, we've gotten a significant amount of damage off of the other support ships. For example, taking blind fires on that Mino there and throwing widespread torpedoes out on that Shima. Unfortunately, the main took my directions of trying to get the B-cap a little too literal, and he got skill issued pretty hard. But here our team has thrown away too many ships, but you guys should stick around to the end because we go on an absolute tear. Here we have a Mino, a Palmer, the Conquer is in the middle, there's another cruiser there, and there is a battleship as well as a Shimakaze out there. So we're going to go ahead and go dark and reposition here. At this point, I'm kind of telling myself this game is over, but we can absolutely go and outplay a Palmer, a Mino, and a few other ships. We took a blind fire at that Mino there, got another Citadel off of him, so he is, angry at us, but the AP on this thing, it hits. It's not the most effective, but combine that with the SAP that, I've taken 10, 15k salvos off of battleships at unique angles. I think here's a decent example of that. Yeah, that was about 9k off of that Palmer at a very unique angle. Now, again, the Germans do have big superstructures, but taking those angles from SAP, you will get significant hits. Here we throw another salvo, and we're just trying to get in close at this point. The SAP is fantastic, at unique angles. I'm going to be honest, though, I think it oversaturates a touch too quickly. I don't know if that's, working as intended, but I've noticed that issue with the Amalfi. Here, I think we take a Citadel or a significant chunk of penetrations. The reason I launched these torpedoes short is because I thought the Palmer was going to stop and turn in. He does not, though, and with how slow these torpedoes are, we are, going to miss those torpedoes. But we aim at his nose armor here, get a few decent chunks worth of penetrations, another 9,000 there. And here we're going to go ahead and lead the indicator. He can't really turn that much anymore, and even if he does, he will not be able to dodge those. We are unfortunately triple fired. I don't know what other people's fire chance is, but I feel like I've never gotten that. And the game isn't over yet. We've taken out that Palmer. We have that Conquer here in the middle. And if you know anything about, fire damage, we can heal up a lot of it. That Shima actually worked his way all the way around, and he is on that side. And here's where our Shima, I wish he would have just gone after him. That battleship is in a division with him, but if the Shima goes after that other Shima, I honestly think we have a much better chance to win this game. Again, that being said, I don't know what that Shima was dealing with. Sometimes you don't know what the other player is going through, right? He could have another cruiser on his backside radaring him. Who knows? Now, the only potential radar in this game was the Mino, but the other cruiser is an Ibuki. But again, some people are just very quick to dismiss other players for being bad without really experiencing the game from their perspective. But here we're just waiting for our heal to cycle. We're going to try and lob this Conqueror without being absolutely yeeted by his napalm. Here he's actually looking for the other Shima. Again, he was in a division with the enemy Shima, so he's probably telling him like, hey, I've got him on RPF or whatever. And he's probably going after him. Our friendly Shima though gets 2 torps, and of course we know that Shima torps have a nuclear tipped warhead, and those hit the Conqueror, and we actually fired a salvo of SAP and got the kill. I wish I would have gotten a little bit more damage. A Conqueror is one of those squishy-ish type ships that probably would get absolutely blistered by SAP. But if you're looking at the scoreboard, like I said, we still have a chance because of our plays and a few of our team's plays. Unfortunately, though, that Mino made his way all the way around the map. I don't know how he did it, because the last time we shot at him, he was on the other side there near C, but he worked his way all the way around, and he will actually shortly be skill issuing our Shima. A Mino against a DD in close is just not a fair fight. But there is that Awami in the middle, the other battleship, and we're doing all we can. We have 12,000 health after we got set on 6 fires, and I was hoping that the battleship would shoot at that Mino. He did, but it didn't do that much. The Shima launches one last defiant set of torpedoes, but I think he stacks them either out of panic or what have you. And if lessons can be learned, it is to spread out your torpedoes. Stacking them in a situation like that is never a good idea. But regardless of that, we are down to 1,700 health, although we do have a heal coming back up here. I'm running propulsion, and like I mentioned, I will be going over the stats and commander guide and modules at the end of this video, but the reason I like propulsion is you can put yourself in kind of this position here, and if you need to stop or go, what have you, you are able to dodge those shells very easily. We pop our smoke here. That Iwami went around the corner. I thought I was going to go around left, but he came around right, and I actually kind of literally shook my head at that shot right there, because I don't know why it didn't go over the islands. I know that auto aim, gives you that little assistance to go over the islands, but I really wish they would remove like auto aim and all that stuff, because I could aim over those islands without it, and that creates some good blind fire situations. Here, though, we have this Awami. We can see that we are target selected with our build. We're going to go ahead and turn out and throw on the brakes. That usually allows battleship players to do what they just do there and miss that salvo. We threw a salvo into his front section. His front plating got about 7 or 7.5K there, which is pretty good considering it's an angled battleship. Now the unfortunate part about SAP and doing this is you're not going to be getting 7.5K every time. I feel like we mentioned, SAP oversaturates a little quickly. Although you do have your floating sea mines, which we threw out in kind of a blind fire there. The Iwami actually does a good job of hitting us with a few ripple fire salvos there, which is what you should do on a kiting cruiser. But thanks to our torpedoes, we have evened out this fight, and if we can keep kiting this guy, we will kill him. The Italian cruisers do not have that much carry potential. They don't have radar, they don't have hydro, they don't have obnoxious amount of DPM, but what they do have is a slight versatility and the ability to draw out the enemy. So in this situation, when the enemy is chasing you, this is, the best position to be in an Italian cruiser. Here, one of our turrets was actually on reload, and that is when the Shima pops up and decides to shoot, which is definitely not a good idea, because we have one of those turrets half reloaded there, one of the 2 back, and we actually hit him with all 3, and good night. Thanks for playing. Welcome to SAP. But here there is only 35 seconds remaining, so we're just going to go ahead and turn around. That Shima actually caught us on fire, and because we repaired that turret, we do not have our damage con. So our game is pretty much over. On top of that, we're definitely not going to win. The enemy did a good job of securing caps, which is definitely the way to play. But if we can take out this Iwami here in this last few seconds, we may be able to secure a nice little, 4 kills and XP total, but unfortunately, we do not. We actually got 4 shatters there as our health ticked to 0. in accordance with the time. But we did get a fairly nice XP total, 183,000, which is a significant amount for the Brindisi. Nearly a 2K XP game on a loss. Like I said, our Shima played well, and then our team kind of just falls off the face of the earth. If I did have some advice for them, it is play the side you spawn on and try to play the objective. PTFO. Play the objective. You can figure out the F. But here is our commander. We are running Mimbelli, and as I've mentioned before, the Italians are some of the only ships I will run agile builds on. I truly think agile builds are a waste of time except for the Italian ships and maybe a few others. I do have rudder modifications on a few of my German ships, but regardless of that, that was our build. And here we are going to go over the stats of the Brindisi. The health you saw it on screen was 44,800 with a 22% torpedo reduction. The guns are 4x3 203 millimeter guns, 16.1 range, not that much range, and a pretty abysmal reload time, 16.9 there. I don't know why Wargaming wants to put that much reload into the SAP, but that's what they're doing. The sea mines, the torpedoes there, long range, very slow. AA defense is kind of irrelevant. The maneuverability, pretty good, 40 knots there, medium turning circle, and with our rudder type build, we've got a 4.1 rudder there. Our concealment without concealment mod is 11.1. The reason we are not running concealment mod is because we are running aiming systems, propulsion, steering, and reload. I think propulsion is absolutely necessary. I know some people just like to put literally every rudder modification on there, but I don't think that's the way to play. The Italians do benefit from kind of dodging and playing that, especially with their rolling smoke. They were made to do that. Here we have the armor of the Brindisi, which is actually pretty awful. You do have a very strong belt and side plating, but that nose is a 25 millimeter nose, and you will get ripped to shreds by any battleships there. There's a few little sections of casemate, but if you look there, that citadel is massive. I'm not sure why Wargaming decided to make this thing basically a floating citadel with a very weak nose. You do have your maneuverability, so dodging is definitely, your friend. You couple this armor, however, with the guns and the slow reload, and you saw us just knock up 180k with a few torpedo hits. But I wish Wargaming would give these things a little bit better reload. This ship makes me hopeful for Venezia. I don't think the ship is going to be a carry ship, but I actually really enjoy this ship, and I hope you guys enjoyed that first look replay. So here is the rolling smoke. You guys have seen it. I'm not sure why it's shorter than it is on PC, but alas, the Legends dev team seems to know everything. So I hope they can fix that small into aiming bug. But anyway, guys, that is the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Aaron out. Peace.